In this video, we learn how to round numbers to significant figures. Now, before we can start rounding, we have to understand how to count significant figures. So consider the number 0.0053. To count significant figures, we start from the first non-zero digit and we count every digit after that. So this number has two significant figures. As another example, consider the number 5.05. Now, the first non-zero digit is 5. Oops. Sorry about that. There you go. Okay, consider the number 5.05. The first non-zero digit is 5, and we count everything after that. So this number has three significant figures. As a final example, consider the number 0.500. The first non-zero digit is 5, and we count everything after that. So this number has three significant figures. Now let's try rounding some numbers to significant figures. So let's start by rounding 809 to two significant figures. So we start by going to the second significant figure, which is 0. And then we look at the next digit along, which is 9. Now, if this digit happens to be 5 or more, that means we round the 0 up. If this digit is less than 5, we don't do anything to the 0. So because this digit is 5 or more, the 0 rounds up. So that would become 810 to two significant figures. Let's try rounding 0.003684 to two significant figures. We start by going to the second significant figure, which is 6, and then we look at the next digit along, which is 8. Now, because that digit is 5 or more, that means the 6 rounds up. So this becomes 0.0037 to two significant figures. Let's try rounding 5,841 to three significant figures. We start by going to the third significant figure, and then we look at the next digit. Because that's less than 5, we don't do anything to the 4. So this becomes 5,840 to three significant figures. Let's round 79.99 to one significant figure. The first significant figure is 1, and the next digit is 9. So the 7 rounds up by 1 unit, and that becomes 80 to one significant figure. As a final example, let's round 0.04 and then 4 nines to three significant figures. We start by going to the third significant figure, and the next digit is 9. So this would round up by 1 unit. So that becomes 0.0. Okay, let me explain this briefly. So when we add 1 to the 9, this becomes 10, but we can't write 10 as a digit. So we have to carry the 1, and then that becomes 0. And then the 1 carries over to the next 9, the previous 9. So that also becomes 10. So the digit becomes 0, and we get a 1 carried over. And then we add the 1 to the 4, and that becomes 5. So the number becomes 0.0500 to 3 significant figures. So in other words, an easy way of remembering how to do this is that if you have a bunch of 9s, you simply increase the first digit that isn't 9 by 1 unit, and then the 9s become 0s. Now you might be wondering, why don't we write 0.05? Why do we have to include the 0s? The reason is that we're rounding to 3 significant figures, so we need the number to have 3 significant figures. And the only way of doing that is if we include the 0s at the end.